All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Don's Modeling Bench. Last week, I asked on my video if y'all would be interested in seeing some miniature painting, but I said I had to work out my setup. Well, I think I kind of got it figured out, so I'm gonna give it a try and just let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you want to see more or if you have any ideas to make it better, just let me know in the comments. Um, but tonight, what I'm looking at is I got a few of the new Army Painter speed paints, and I was giving them a try. I know everybody on YouTube has already put out videos about them and everything, but I just thought I would give one a try. Let y'all know what I think about them. Uh, Overall, I really like them. They work pretty good. And if you're willing to put a little more work into them after you get the speed paint on, you can make them look pretty decent. I mean, it's not going to be the best paint job you've ever seen on a mini, but it's a good way to get a lot of minis painted and look really good really fast. So here, let's get into it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like this orc right here I painted. Um, this is just straight speed paint. I just painted him up with the speed paint, one coat of each color, and it just falls into the recesses, and it actually turns out looking pretty good. The only color that I'm really not enamored with is the black. The black looks a little two-dimensional to me, but it's not bad overall. I mean, they look pretty good. Here is a Zorn that I painted. This is also just straight coat of speed paint on him. Um, One little thing that I did notice was, for whatever reason, on these Nolzur's miniatures, they come pre-primed, and even though they're pre-primed, there must be some kind of oil on the surface, because you can see little spots there where it just refused to stick to the mini. So what I ended up doing was washing them down with alcohol before I painted them, which seemed to really help the paint adhere to the mini. Um, I don't know. I guess it's from handling when they're packaging them or something. But you know, overall, I think they work pretty good. It just takes one coat of paint, and you've got a game ready mini. You know, it took me like 15 minutes to paint this mini right here, and I mean, you can't beat that. Like I said, it's not the greatest you'll ever see, but if you're just trying to get a bunch of minis painted for a game, that's it right there. I mean, and if you're willing to go a little further once you get the speed paint on, I went back. Oh, come on, camera, focus. There we go. But I went back over this one with some regular paint, and just kind of brought up the highlights a little bit, and probably spent an extra 15 minutes or so just bringing up the highlights on him, and he looks pretty good. You definitely want to put a varnish on these when you get through. The speed paints do not seem to be real durable, but once you get a varnish coat on them, they'll be good. Like this orc right here, I went back, over him with some highlight colors on the fur there and on his skin and his hair. Put some metallic on his chainmail there and his helmet. And you know, for like a, I don't know, 30-40 minute paint job, I think it works really good. Um Let me just get some here and show you how it works. Throw it on my vortex for a second. Get it mixed up. Also, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but these come with mixing balls already in the jar. So that really helps get them mixed up. But yeah, you just take your speed paint and you just blob it right on there. Get over here where you can see it. You just kind of blob it on there like that. And it just soaks right down in there. Gives you a little highlight, a little shadow. It's really nice if you're trying to get a bunch of minis painted really quick. Let me get a little bigger brush here. And the set I bought came with a brush. I mean, but you really can't beat that. You just brush it right on there in nice thick coats. And just let it run down in there. See how that's showing the high points? It sinks more and more and more as it dries. Some of the colors seem to work a little better than others. I don't know if it's because they're a little thinner. Maybe they have a little more medium in them. But this is a great way to just knock out a bunch of minis, you know, for a game. If you're needing a bunch of monsters for a game, you can just throw this on there, and I mean, they'll look decent. Like I said, you could spend a little extra time once this dries. That's another thing. You want to let this dry for at least a couple of hours before you go back and try to paint anything over it, because if it's not dried all the way, then you will have issues with the paint you're putting on over this reactivating this paint, and then you'll just have a mess. But it works really good, I think. Let me get a different color here, and I'll show you how it looks on his body over a less textured area. Let's go with this one. You can hear those little mixing balls in there bouncing around when it's on the vortex mixer. Those really help to get it mixed up good. Now, let's get in here. Put some right in here. See, that's a lot lighter color. I'm not a real fan of how they go on over smooth areas, but they don't do too bad. They look really bad when it's wet, but they actually dry fairly good on smooth areas. I mean, you could obviously do a lot better on a smoother area, uh, just painting it, with regular paints and taking the time to put your shadows and highlights and everything in. But just for quick paint jobs so you can get some minis on the table, this stuff is not bad. It's not bad at all. I tried the Citadel um, contrast paints when they first come out, and there's not a lot of difference between the two, but I kind of like the way these speed paints flow. They seem to flow into the crevices, and when they dry, they seem to look a lot smoother than what the contrast paints do. You get a little better um, blending of dark to light, whereas the contrast paints are really bad about if you get just a little bit too much and you get a pool, you get tide marks um, around the edges of the darker spot there. You'll have tide marks showing and stuff. But I didn't have that happen at all with these. They just they dry out pretty smooth. I would definitely recommend these to someone who just wants to get a lot of minis painted to get on the table. I know I'll definitely be using them for that. You got a game coming up and you need some bad guys painted. This is a good way to do it. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You do have to be careful though, because these are very, very transparent. If you're trying to paint a mini, like I did with those, and you have to be really careful with where you're putting your paint, because like if I had got this dark brown onto this area, when I painted this dark brown would show through, because these paints are very, very translucent. They don't have a lot of coverage, but that's kind of what you're looking for, when you're looking for a paint that's going to give you a base coat and your shading and highlighting all in one. You kind of want that, because if they were completely opaque, then you wouldn't be able to see the shadows and highlights. That looks, fairly rough right now, but once those thicker pools dry, and they'll they'll have a bit of a blend in there. I don't know how this stuff is doing that, but it works really, really good, and I really like it. The only colors that I'm really not impressed with is the black. Just, I don't know, it doesn't do that well in my opinion. I'm gonna go back over these and give them a little touching up with some regular paint. But other colors like this purple, can you see his face there? See, that did a pretty good job. And that blue on the flame there, that looks really good too. I mean, for just slapping the paint on and letting it do its thing, you can't beat it. And the browns look really good. See on his belt there? And you can like combo them up and get different colors. Like this bottom belt here. Let me get something to point with. This bottom belt here and this belt up here are actually the same brown. But this one I painted over with the black. And once that dried, then I painted over it with the brown. And that gave me my different shade of brown there. And the staff is just the darker brown like I put on the wing of the griffin there. But I would definitely say that these are at least worth trying, you know? I mean, they're only like $3 a jar, a pot. They're 17 milliliters, I believe. $18 milliliters. They're 18 milliliters. 0.6 ounce. But I mean, they're like $3 a pot. And or you can buy sets. They have sets that you can get. But for what they are, I think they work really well. And like I said, a little extra time, go back and throw some more paint on the highlights. Throw a little metallic on it where it needs it. And you got a really good looking mini to just throw on the table. But you can see here how the flat areas, they see how it has a little transition right there. Right there. It's not like a hard line. There's a little bit of a transition there. It's not much, but you get a little bit of a transition. And like down here in this, you get a little transition there. But I really like them. I mean, all I did to this one is mix a little yellow in with some green and put it right there on the highlight areas just to bring that up a little bit. I mean, it handles the shading great. You can give it a little help on the highlights, and on this brown, I just went in and hit the top edge of these with a little bit lighter color brown. But I mean, I like it. These skulls are literally just the paint. I didn't go back over them at all with any highlights or anything. It's just the paint. I thought they looked fine like they are. But yeah, I would definitely recommend these. Give them a try. The Army Painter Speedpaints. They really can save you some time if you're just looking to get a lot of minis painted really fast. But that's about all I got for now. Just wanted to talk about these for a minute. Tell you what I thought of them. Oh, one other color I wasn't too crazy about was the white, because it's not white. It's not white at all. It's like light gray. It's a really light gray, which, I mean, I understand why they did that, because, you know, you want it to sink into the recesses and give you a shadow, and you can't do that with pure white. So, but that was the other color, the black and the white. I just wasn't overly thrilled with. The rest of them, I love. All of them work great. But that's about it. That's all I got. I'll come back next time. Let me know what you think of the mini painting video. I've got a lot of minis around here that I need to paint. Be glad to do some more videos. Haven't really had time to work on mini models recently because I've been working on a commission, a Warhammer commission. I've been painting a Space Wolves army for a guy online. This is the latest one that I finished. I think it turned out pretty good. So, man, that camera's really blowing that snow out, ain't it? But some battle damage on it. Aged gold. Snow. And he wanted frost on it, so I airbrushed in some frost there. But I really like how it turned out. Looks really good. But anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. I appreciate y'all dropping by. And like I said, just pop in the comments and let me know if you'd like to see some more mini painting videos. I've got all those Space Wolves to paint. I've got a towel that I'm fixing to start painting for him, for that same guy. And I've got some zombie side minis I've got to paint for commission. So I've got plenty to paint if y'all want to see some more mini painting videos. So thanks again for stopping by Don's Modeling Bench, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. Later.